invisible anchor. Imagine you're driving a high-performance sports car. The engine is roaring, the road is clear, and your hands are firmly on the wheel. But no matter how hard you press the gas pedal, the car refuses to exceed 30 miles per hour. You check the dashboard, the brakes, the fuel level. Everything seems technically perfect. But what you don't see is a heavy, iron anchor dragging behind you, buried deep into the asphalt, destroying the road and holding you back with immense force. In your life, that sports car is your potential. It's your talent, your ambitions, and your dreams. And that hidden anchor? It's your own brain. We are taught that our mind is our greatest ally, a tool designed to help us achieve happiness and success. But psychology and neuroscience reveal a much darker truth. Your brain does not want you to succeed. In fact, it is actively working to ensure you stay exactly where you are. Welcome to the hidden science of self-sabotage. The biological saboteur. To understand why you fail, we have to look 50,000 years into the past. Evolution is a slow process, and your brain is essentially running an ancient, prehistoric software on modern hardware. In the ancient African savanna, survival was the only metric that mattered. Your brain wasn't designed to make you rich, fit, or fulfilled. It was designed to keep you alive. Back then, anything new or unknown equaled death. A new path through the forest could lead straight to a predator. A new fruit could be a deadly poison. True success and growth require change. But to your amygdala, the ancient, emotional alarm system buried deep within your temporal lobes, any form of change is interpreted as an immediate mortal threat. When you decide to start a new business, commit to a strict diet, or break off a toxic relationship, your brain detects a sharp deviation from what it considers this safe zone. It immediately panics. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, making you feel anxious, overwhelmed, and exhausted. It intentionally creates mental fog and heavy procrastination, punishing you until you finally quit and return to your familiar, miserable comfort. Your brain doesn't care if you are unhappy. It only cares that you are predictable. The shadow of the self. But biology is only half the story. The deeper, more insidious traps are entirely psychological. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, famously proposed that every human being possesses a shadow. The shadow is the dark, subconscious basement of your mind where you lock away everything you find unacceptable about yourself, your fears, your hidden desires, and your insecurities. But here is the ultimate catch. If you do not acknowledge your shadow, it begins to run your life. Jung wrote that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The shadow manifests as that bizarre, unexplainable bad luck that always seems to strike at the worst possible moment. It's the sudden sickness you get the night before a life-changing job interview. It's the reckless comment you make that ruins a perfect relationship. Why does this happen? Because your shadow feels safe in the dark. It is deeply afraid that if you become truly great, the spotlight will become too bright, and the world will finally see the flaws you've been trying so hard to hide. To your subconscious mind, failure is not a tragedy. It is a warm, protective blanket. The addiction to misery. There is a profound, twisted comfort in being a victim. When you fail, or when you don't even try, you escape the terrifying, crushing weight of responsibility. If you never launch that project, no one can tell you that your work is bad. If you never approach that person, you can never be rejected. Self-sabotage is almost always a preemptive strike against reality. You subconsciously choose to destroy the opportunity yourself before the world has a chance to reject you. It is a highly dysfunctional form of control. You would honestly rather fail entirely on your own terms than risk failing on the world's terms. Furthermore, your nervous system can become genuinely addicted to the familiarity of struggle. If you grew up in chaos, stress, or emotional scarcity, your brain calibrated its baseline to that frequency. It knows exactly how to handle pain. It has years of practice. What it doesn't know how to handle is peace, stability, and abundance. Therefore, the moment your life becomes peaceful, your brain perceives it as an unnatural anomaly. It will deliberately create artificial chaos, arguments, and financial crises just to bring the emotional temperature back down to the level of struggle you are accustomed to. Breaking the chains. So, how do you stop acting as your own executioner? How do you cut the chain of the anchor? The first step is completely counterintuitive. You must stop fighting the internal saboteur. What you resist, persists. When you fight your anxiety or your procrastination with brute force, you only feed it more attention and energy, amplifying the threat in your amygdala. Instead, you must learn the art of psychological detachment. The next time you feel the overwhelming urge to procrastinate, or the sudden impulse to pick a senseless fight with someone you love, stop. Do not follow the impulse, and do not fight it. Simply name it. Give your inner saboteur a distinct name. Look at the feeling objectively and think, ah, there is George again, trying to scare me into running back to my cave. The moment you name the reaction, you instantly shift the neural activity from the emotional amygdala to the highly analytical prefrontal cortex. You instantly transform from being the emotion to merely observing it. You are no longer the prisoner. You are the guard watching the cell. Secondly, you must deliberately expand what psychologist Gay Hendricks calls your upper limit. You have to train your nervous system to tolerate success. When something good happens to you, spend just 5 minutes a day sitting quietly with that positive energy. Do not immediately look for the next problem to solve. Do not wait for the other shoe to drop. Force your brain to learn a new baseline. That feeling good, being successful, and experiencing peace is completely safe. The final synthesis, the cold, stark truth is that the walls of your mental prison are made entirely of your own thoughts. They were built years ago by an ancient evolutionary mechanism and a childhood ego designed to protect a version of you that no longer exists. You are the architect of this prison, you are the guard standing outside, and you are the prisoner locked inside. But this also means you are the one holding the key. Your true potential is not a distant, mythical destination that you reach. It is the person you naturally become when you finally decide to get out of your own way. The road ahead of you is completely clear. The heavy iron anchor is gone. The cage door has been wide open this entire time. What are you waiting for? If this message resonated with your inner saboteur, hit the subscribe button. Let's dismantle the prison together. Stay conscious.